guess you're going live now. I accidentally pushed it.
So we're on?
You're on.
We're actually on.
You can start officially in 9 minutes, but you can just do a...
I guess we're on.
Pull over your mic.
Oh, God. All right.
So now we have to be intelligent for 4 extra minutes.
We got to look intelligent, at least my part. You'll be fine with that.
Are you going to play guitar at all?
I don't know. I put it there just in case, but we're not going to talk about guitar.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. We're not going to talk about music at the moment.
All right.
Because it's not time yet. Let me see. Well, we got to get. I have to figure this out, guys. This is the first time doing this, so I'm just going with the flow.
You look so uncomfortable right now.
It is a little. I want to get comfortable, man.
Don't touch me.
Come on.
No, I'm very happy right here. No, I can't. Should we move over a little bit?
Can you still hear? I guess you can still hear me. Yeah.
Just to make it like
There we go.
we like each other.
Yeah. If you want, you can drop that stand. Yeah.
Lucy, can you help me with this? Okay, I got it.
There you go.
Okay, I got it.
We're gonna adjust.
Is that better for you?
Is it better for you?
Hold my
Is it
hand.
worse for you?
All right.
All right. Feels good.
What
Feels
did I do
good.
with my phone?
You got your phone?
Oh, Lucy. All right, it's not 2:00 yet, but we're going live. So when we go at 2:00, do we become more professional looking?
I don't know. I guess so. We're supposed to. I don't know. This is when I watch those YouTube things and see people doing this, and they get the professional mic going like this, and I have one with its screen and all. Good start.
I think because you're not signed in, it's not showing the chat.
Okay, so it says, "Hi, Michael and Mark. It's good to see you guys. It's a good thing I have my glasses on. I wish you could make that bigger because I'm blind. That's all right." Greetings from the great white north of North Pole. Can you read that?
I can see
Alaska.
a little. No, you know what?
It's 1:59. We have 1 minute to be. You are not. Can you really?
Look at that. You can see it.
Are you really going to pull out a magnifying glass every time somebody comments?
No, I can see that.
What are you going to do? The whole?
Right?
Yeah, but are you going to do that every time? Are you going to do that every time?
Well, that's what they're made for, right?
Yeah, but
It's a magnifying
up close,
glass.
Like, listen, when you're like at home and you're doing this, but the laptop's 5 feet away.
Whatever works, right?
It's 2:00, almost. We have
Okay.
Yeah. Should we just pretend we're going to do something?
Let's just. I think the whole time is going to be pretending. That's our life, man. That's what we do. We're pretenders.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark OToole, and this is Michael Grimm with Grimm Thoughts. This is the first of many, hopefully, podcasts. Michael, you've had an incredible amount of time to think about this project because you have things to say, and I think it's fascinating just talking to you because I know you, and to hear all these incredible subjects that you have your opinions on. What makes you? What makes this going to be? What's going to be so special about this podcast?
I want to bring subjects up around Las Vegas, things that I know about, and guests like you who would know from your own experience. More importantly, and we could talk about other things we're not so experienced on, but we have a lot of experience being here in Las Vegas for me for 20 plus years, and I know you also 33 years out here. So there are things that go on that people don't know about in the business out here that the different classes of musicians or entertainers, I'm going to classify them that way, entertainers and those subcategories of those out here that come out here, like myself, for example, and you for the first time, and their experiences. Boy, we watch them, and I know from my experience that is a tough situation when you come to Las Vegas, especially right now. What's going on, man? What is happening? I've seen it before. I kind of have an idea. I mean, with this whole facelift and everything that Las Vegas does every 10 years, it kind of caters to the new generations, is what it's trying to do, steer towards. But it's always the entertainers that get the shitty end of the stick.
I remember back in the day when I was here back in the late 80s and when I started, that things were much different back then. You know, the mob was part of it. Everybody was treated with a little bit more respect.
Yeah, they,
you know.
And I hear about the mob. Hang on, real quick.
Yeah, do you think?
Test your mic.
Hey. Can you hear me? All right, I can pull it closer. I think I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just get it closer.
But I noticed a huge change about 2003 when everything started to go downhill, and I remember everybody saying Vegas is never coming back the way we know it musically in the lounges and the theaters. And I have to be honest, it's not been good. It's not been good.
This whole new change going on with, and I hear what you're saying, and I'm adding to that. This whole change that's going on. I think that's the thing. Every time Vegas goes through this, we really don't know what's going to happen at the end of this. But for entertainers like you and I, it's really not looking good at the moment. We're
people are actually leaving town to get work, cruise ships, other productions.
That's always sort of been the case, though. I mean, being from Vegas, the irony in it all is that we, hang on, Lucy's. It's now crackling for mine, my microphone. Check. Okay, I don't understand why. Okay.
Is it working?
It's not showing. Yeah, it's working.
Okay. Hey, Brian, what's up, kids?
All right, we got some.
Kentucky, Austin, Texas. No train wreck today, boys. Okay, thanks, Brian. Cindy, Mississippi. Hello, Connie from Kansas. You guys look comfy. Looking forward to the podcast. Hasn't started yet, but we'll get there. Brenda's sending love from Alabama. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mike. And that's great. I get some people.
All right, we are going to have some technical things going on for the moment as we crank this thing up, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Never have. But I want to talk about the reason why you want to do this podcast again. Is one of the things we talked about when you started talking about this, to do this. You want to keep it real, no bullshit. You want to tell it like it is. You want the people out there to know what's going on without.
Well, I want to know what the hell is going on first and foremost. So if you can help, we can probably, what I want to do is I want to find a creative solution that might be able to help solve some problems. And
do we have any boundaries, by the way, with this?
Well, I just don't like fallacy. You know, I don't entertain it too much. Anyone that comes in trying to confuse a solution that I'm trying to create, maybe. That hang on real quick.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Oh, who is that? Steve? Oh, that's Steve, our baby. Oh, he got in a fight with Samantha. Steven got in a fight with Samantha. Well, Steven's 17 years old. We call him Uncle Steve. Anyway, that's our dogs.
If anybody has any questions, instead of me just reading back hellos and greetings, if you have something that you want to ask Michael or anything for that matter, nothing's off subject. We also talked about the politics of the politics. Do you want to talk about that too?
I think it's inevitable, but I mean, whatever you want to bring up here, it's going to lead to some politics at some point. So what do you want? What do you got? What do you want? Is there an elephant in the room I'm not mentioning here?
No, I'm talking about the politics of not government politics, like social
no,
politics.
Social politics.
That's
yeah, entertainment business politics. Yeah.
Now let's go somewhere. Let's get to, first of all, how you doing? How you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling great, man. I'm getting better as time goes, taking it moment by moment. My partying years are behind me, guys. I'm done with that. And a lot has changed in my life. Let me just put it that way, in a way that it's never done. So I'm taking baby steps. And like I say, I'm in the moment. And right now, the moment is good. I'm creating, I'm getting my life in line, and you know, yeah, get my life in order, you know. Um, and I'm very grateful, very lucky, man. I'm very grateful to have um, everyone that supported me through that moment. That was really, I didn't know what was going on until I came out of it. And then whenever it was said and done, I just said, breathe, breathe, and put one foot in front of the next, and you'll get there. And those that I know that love me will be right there next to me along the way. I think this is a good platform for me to talk to people who may have those questions. As far as boundaries go, what you were talking about earlier, I think it's good to just you don't have to so much censor yourself if it's not coming from a place of harming somebody. I don't like that. I don't like harming people. I don't even like harming my own enemies, wishing ill on my enemies. And I
Are
have
you a
some
lot
enemies.
different from when you were younger? When you,
Absolutely.
yeah, so your views changed through the years.
I evolve and devolve. So,
Were you as creative when you were younger as you are now musically, or did you? When was the first time you picked up a guitar?
15.
You're how old are you now? Can
I'm
you say?
I'm 45.
That, really?
Yeah.
You've had a rough life.
Yeah.
But anyway,
they thought I was 60.
I thought you were.
Somebody
Yeah,
thought I was 60.
really?
So
What's wrong with that? There's
no,
nothing wrong with that.
well, unless you're 60, are you? No.
Yeah, I'm 63.
What? See,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is
The best money a facelift can buy right here. So I want to get back. I found it fascinating to talk to you this last week about your career. You were a nerd. Like you were telling me you were the definition of a nerd.
I wasn't a nerd. A nerd in the definition would be someone more like book smart. That was definitely not me. I wasn't. They gave
Did you
me.
get picked on?
Prometheus gave me the tools. I was just like and then I almost killed myself with what he gave me. But killed myself
You're gonna
because
look back at this moment right now. If you want, you're gonna go, "Why did I do that?"
no,
it's
I
okay.
know that. Listen to
I'm
me.
listening
Let
to
me
you.
let
Go
me
ahead.
just explain that,
Okay,
Mark.
sure, go ahead.
Okay, Mark. I learned by pissing on the electric fence. I tell people that all the time. My old buddy down in Mississippi, Austin Proan, said that one time. He said he learns by pissing on the electric fence. I said, by God, that's me, man. I do the same thing. And so, if anything, my ignorance, I've been a lucky man, but I have gained some wisdom. I am wise when it comes to the ignorant.
How do you? I have a question for you.
I'm the guru
I
of
have a question
ignorance.
for you. How do you rate yours? I've been a lot of people because I've talked to a lot of performers through the years, major stars. And my question is, do you rate yourself as a good singer? Do you think you're good at what you do? Do you? I mean,
That's funny. A lot of people ask that question, and it's always just as funny to me. No, how would you get any better? But one thing that I did notice was it made me feel good. And when it made me feel good, I realized that it wasn't the techniques of singing. I could do trills and all that stuff, but it was believing in what I was singing. People gravitated.
do you think you're better now than you were when you were 15? Do you think your voice has developed? I mean, you obviously have to feel that way. I mean, don't you feel like?
The more I learn, the more stupid I think I become.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a chain of effect, cause and events.
Did you pick up the guitar to get laid? Was that one of your
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
But and it worked.
It did, because I realized nobody was listening to me, and everybody knew I was stupid, so I couldn't disguise that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could express myself through that I found was a guitar and music. Yeah. And it was a good way to express myself.
Somebody's asking, who's your friend, Michael? Do you want to tell them about me? Are we still having issues with the microphone?
Is it only when I speak?
Hey, you know what?
Okay, let me see here.
Hold on, everybody. Give us 2 seconds. because it is Michael's thing, and if he's going, maybe you're
Okay,
touching
now
it.
let me know, Lucy, if that works,
It said,
because I just pulled it back a little. Maybe it was crackling because of that. Anyway,
can somebody just let us know through comments if you can hear Michael? Okay, try not to touch your microphone so much.
I can't help it, and I will be touching my microphone. It is a member of me right now.
Okay, do you want to switch? Do you want to switch over here and use this mic?
Why?
Because you're talking more, and people want to hear you. I'm just the guy
I
asking questions.
I don't know. I feel like this is the better side because I have a really infected ear.
David, we're good.
It's a pussy infected ear.
David, always
Oh,
good to
okay.
see the two
All
of you
right.
together. Oh, thank you, Marsha. So let's get back to you about.
Oh boy, me. All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you because it's Grimm Thoughts, which is you. It's Lucy. What's going on?
Is it the shadow?
You're just way too close.
Oh, is that it?
I'm not close
Okay.
enough.
Yes, ma'am.
She is so bossy.
I know.
Can we
Damn
talk?
it. Jeez.
She was just joking.
You got
She
to
was just
understand, everybody.
joking.
This is the
She was
first,
joking.
the first episode, and so we're next time you see us, we'll be in a lavish, suite with cameras. And I'm just kidding. We're going to keep it like
I don't know. I like to keep it,
Simple.
really simple and modest, and it's really easy for me because it's in my house. So
good. Let's get back to simple. Let's get back to you. So, who are like you're growing up? Did you sing? Like, did you do talent shows, or did you do anything like that? That you realized? Did people come up to you and go, "Hey, you got a decent voice"? I mean, how did that all start? Like, how did you get to to realize you were good enough to get in front of people?
it's that's I just wanted to I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard, and people wouldn't listen to me. And when I went to music, I was around 13, 15. I picked up the guitar, but I was already playing in bars and singing karaoke. I mean, not at karaoke bars. I would bring my own karaoke. I worked 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. I did hanging sheetrock, and I made $100 in that 2 weeks, and I helped hang the sheetrock, and I went and took that money and I bought a karaoke machine, and I just started saying, I said, I'm going to figure my way out of this some way. And I started singing in my front yard as people would go by on my little 2-lane road, almost a dirt road where I live. And one day somebody saw me from a bar, and they said, come and sing. You can make some tips, but you're going to have to bring, your father or somebody with you. And it was Christmas Eve of, of, of 1993. I was 12 years old. Let me see. That was Christmas Eve of 92 or 93. Anyway, I was 12 years old, and it was Christmas Eve. My dad came out with me, and that was the first. That was what, yeah. And I said, well, if I can make, and I'm a poor kid, man. I come from no money, and I had to figure out some way of making a living. I knew when Christmas time come around that my idea of selling mistletoe was not going to be the big one for me. So I had to figure something out. Music was it. If I had to make just tips off of doing it, and I played at this little bar, started out there from nothing, made those tips, saved them up, bought me equipment, bought me better equipment, better gear. Then when I was 15, Ann McNair, this lady I knew who found interest in me in my singing, and she had a lot of connections. She's a well-known gospel songwriter, and she got me a guitar, and she showed me 3 chords on it, and that was G, C, and D. And she gave me a guitar chord book, and I just sat and learned all of that in my room from there, and I growed, and I watched people come in and following me all of a sudden, and I realized starting from scratch, starting from nothing, you owe nobody anything, in that way. And a lot of people were telling me that I just couldn't do it, that I couldn't learn guitar, that I was, and I'm taking it as though I'm just too stupid, is what they're saying. And yeah, I guess so. But I do know how to play this and this.
When you made the leap to auditioning for America's Got Talent, you had no agenda other than helping your grandparents. And you knew that because you're smart enough to know if you've watched these kind of shows that you have to have a great backstory.
The thing is if I won the show, I'm like, I don't need the money. Who needs the money? I could put it towards a charity that I was going to do. But I thought to myself, well, my grandmother just lost the house. Why not, if you win the money, put it into a house for her? And yeah, that's a whole different chapter, that house itself, you know. But I did build it, and and it took a while, and then, you know, we kept it up through the years the best we could. And um yeah, that's another chapter to get into.
And what I love about you is you were not willing to conform to what they wanted you to be. A lot of times, like when I was on Star Search, um, everything what the people see is not the truth. All the behind the scenes things that happen. And I love the fact that you stayed true to who you were and what your cause was. And you know, uh, from conversations with us, we don't have to talk about it, but the things that the public doesn't see that is already laid out. They already know who they're going to pick. They already know what to say. Um, did that bother you? Or did you just feel like I'm just going to just be myself and just go out there and do the best I can?
I just know who I am, and I just went out there being me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Before you auditioned, I heard your name around town from friends of ours that worked with you that always said, "Geez, this Michael Grimm boy, can he sing? Can he sing? Wow, wow, wow." And then I don't think it was a shock for many people who knew you to see how well you did. Um, and looking back at that time, which is what was it, season 10 you were on, or what?
I think it was season 5.
Season 5. How many years ago was that?
14, I think. That was 2010. That's where you're getting the 10 in there.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about reality shows like that? How do you feel about talent shows?
I had nowhere to go. I think they're great stepping stones if you have nowhere else to go. I don't know. Maybe if you have some, actually, they're just a great stepping stone. The thing is you're in front of millions of people on those shows. So you get on one episode. If you know what you're doing, you kind of set. You know, I went in already with a career. I'd already been in the music business a long time. I've sat in front of everyone, you name it. They knew who I was. When I went on that show, they knew, them being the CEOs and A&Rs of all these labels out there. And the one that I signed with, which was Epic Records, was affiliated with Sony Records, I believe at the time, and or maybe still to this day. Michael Liner offered, I think that's his name. I forget names of all these. And mind you, guys, I don't know these people. When I went in, they're like, do you know who Rick Rubin is? You're gonna be hanging out with him for a couple days. Do you know who, these guys? And I can go down a list of name dropping like crazy, but I'm telling you, I've been in the business. I knew Stevie Nicks before I went on tour with her. I knew I was opening for Heart for many years.
When was the moment?
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but when was
Right.
the moment that you knew that you're a celebrity? When was there's always that
what
moment?
What does that mean?
Meaning, what was it that all of a sudden you realized that you were famous enough for it to be recognized? I love stories like this because I've asked other people that I've known through, and they always have that one time where they go, "Wow, I can't walk out of my house now," or "I've gone somewhere." Like when you were on the Ellen Show. I mean, what was that moment that you realized, wow, was it during the filming of AGT at one point?
I never wanted fame.
No, but
maybe as a child I
but
wanted.
I'm not asking. My question is,
I would
when
like
did
to
you know
right.
that when people started recognizing? When did that feel like, oh my God, I'm being recognized nationally?
Okay, you gonna let me?
Sure.
I never wanted fame.
Yeah.
From the get go. So when it came around, it sucked. It comes with the package.
Mm-hmm.
I like people. That part of it is not the case, but it just sucks, man. You got to experience it. Go experience it. It's not for me.
I think
Fame.
for all your fans and friends that are watching, there are many people throughout your career who've tried to conform you into being a certain type of performer, a certain type of look, certain way of acting on stage. And I think the allure from me and for all of your fans and your friends, when they go to see you in concert, you're just a guy up there just singing his ass off and playing his guitar and doing it the way you want to do it. And I think that's why everybody loves you. There's really no bullshit when they come and see you. There's no set list. There's no, you know what I mean? I love that. And I think that's why you have such a great following, because people know when they come and see you, they're going to hear this great singer, this great player, and just a really cool guy up there who doesn't have anything on his agenda other than to sing from his heart and sing some great songs.
Well, people in the business have definitely tried to paint a picture, tried to do something with a very broad brush, mind you, not really zoning in on who I am, trying to make me, and it's something I'm not. I am a Mississippi boy. I keep things real in that way, from the South, in a Southern way, in all the positive ways, by the way, guys. I meaning the good food, the great music, all the art that comes from the South. I try to carry that along and let people know that through my art, my music, and when they come out and see me, I want them to experience me, because that's all I've tried to wear the different hats, tried to be the different guy, the chicken suit. I even turned Steven Spielberg down. I love that, and he'll say no, he didn't. It was
from Steve. It says you're full of shit, Michael. Look at it. It says right here.
I know, right? No, but his company wanted to know if I acted, and I said I can't act, man. I got offered by his company DreamWorks to
What was the role?
It wasn't any role. It was just do you act? Can you act, and are you interested? And I'm like, I was thinking they were going to ask me for a song in a movie. I was hoping.
Yeah.
Did not expect that question at all, and I just said no. And all I thought to myself was just the horror of what I was currently going through on
Steven Spielberg?
What I was going through on the TV show was cameras, that world. I didn't like it, man. And I just like being me on stage. Being me and on stage. That's it. That's me. Where's you see right there?
Yeah, when I go to see you, it's kind of fun. My favorite part of the show is when you're performing. Of course, obviously, when you're singing, it's the in between the songs, because you're just like hanging out and start talking about something, and there's no semblance of what you're gonna do, and it's almost like everybody's waiting for that. For me, I enjoy that, because I look at you and go, he looks really like he sounds great, and then you make me nervous sometimes, because I'm like, what is he gonna say?
See, he's trying to say but just say it, man.
Yeah,
come on,
you're a freak. But anyway, it's just, but no, it's fun. So getting back to when you were younger, how did you? I still don't understand. How can you pick up a guitar and be that good? Did you take lessons? I mean, how does that even happen? I really don't get it. I don't.
How to pick up an instrument?
Like,
or
did you watch video? Did you ever take lessons for a guitar?
No, like I say, Ann McNair gave me 3 chords, and that's how I went.
Damn, that's just amazing. It's crazy. And when we were talking about what we're going to talk about, it's almost like a Jerry Seinfeld thing. It's about nothing.
Yeah,
right. There's no plot here. We don't even know what's going to be. But I'd like to take a few questions from somebody out here. We've got a lot of people at this point who are very sweet, by the way. If anybody has a question, I'm going to start looking. And Michael, I want to talk about get back to Vegas.
Yes.
In the state of Vegas right now.
Maybe what's going on in your world with this, man? Because you were talking to me. We've been talking about Vegas has been one of the main subjects on our list. Of course, that's our income. But a lot of people are going through no work right now. Let's start there. Casinos are closing down. They're trying to bring in Super Bowl and Formula One and all these other things, to cater to the new generations. Like I was saying, what if we can figure out where they're going to go with this? It almost feels like people in the music business and bands and the art of even just live music, the way we know it. It seems like it feels like in these moments, at least, like what Vegas is going through, it feels like it's almost like a chapter of that is it's about to end, and I don't want to say that.
Yeah, the Tropicana is imploding, coming up to put a new baseball stadium in. I found that in 2003, again, when I go back there, I remember looking out and seeing the change cart. Remember the change carts
Oh
before the
yeah,
paper?
yeah. The cigarette girls, we
All of
called
that.
them
When
back
I
then, cigarette girls,
when
but that's
I
what they call
when
them.
I saw that disappearing, I knew that within the year, and I was headlining 33 years on the Strip. I played everywhere like you. I opened up all the MGM properties. I opened up. I could, between the both of us, we've done every single property on the Strip. As much as I want to believe for a future and see a future for performers, for shows, I just don't. I don't. I think a lot of things have changed where we are catering to a lot of people from LA, California, coming in with the DJs who are making $1 million a night, which I still don't understand. I'm not begrudging anybody, but for me, spinning a record and getting $1 million a night, getting table service for $40,000 or $80,000 to sit in your own private booth and get a $30 bottle of vodka and charging $4,000 for it.
Yeah,
Man,
those days,
I don't
man,
get
are
it.
coming to an end of, I feel like with the new generations, like in one respect as to what you were talking about. I fear it, but what do? Do you become the DJ? Do we jump on board with that, or do we carry the torch? Because we're the last of that. And people come to me, like my nephew, was coming to me and talking to me about some of the songs that I do and the way he sees it. Um, in his eyes, he's 13, going on 14. Um, he he sees my music really in his eyes as something that is out of his realm, that something that he only hears in movies and hears in the background of things. This is something I talked to Bill Medley about, who really couldn't come to terms with being a legend. And I've always asked him that. I'm like, do you know you're a legend? And he's like, mm. And then finally one day he said to me, I don't know what brought it up, but he said to me, he goes, I finally accepted that I am a legend. And I said, how's that? Because I knew his perspective on it. And he says, because everywhere I go, he goes, I can hear my songs, my voice in movies. I can hear it played. It's classic. It's going to be on the radios. It's going to be in movies. It's going to be everywhere forever. That era, though, is in a time capsule that way. And everything past that, like Bill was even explaining, is just what's the flavor for the day. And it comes and goes. And no matter how good that stuff, there's once in a while we can see some really good material coming out of all this come and go stuff. But that also come and goes with the rest of it, and it's a different time that we are in.
Yeah, but the
Man, we're
problem
so
being too
fast.
is paying people what they're worth. There are performers right now in town performing, just getting by. We do not have a union. We don't have well, we do have a union, but
Well,
for the
yeah,
big,
but
like when Elton John and Lady Gaga, but playing in lounges in back in the day when I was playing, it was $1,000 a day up to $2,500 a day for your band. That was the norm. And now you're lucky if these people are getting paid 100, maybe 150 a night, singing 4 hours a night. I think the respect level of how we are treated is absolutely
that
just
to me,
terrible.
though,
It's terrible.
Mark, I'm going to say to you, on my perspective only, no matter what, for me, I'll go.
Switch
What's
over
that?
here. Talk on that mic. There you
I didn't want people to see this. This is my bad side, actually. My ear.
go. You have a bad side? Oh.
Yeah, see, it's all pussy, man.
What?
Yeah, it's like a big old. Now they got to see it, so it's a big old. I got some weird infection that happened in my ear. A little
Well,
bit.
I'm glad it's on that side.
Yeah, it's on this side
Yeah.
where everybody can see it.
Now
so you
everybody's
might
gonna be
as-
trying to look at this
so-
pus-filled ear or something.
So I'm trying to cover.
But anyway,
it up.
that mic is better. That's why I said stay on that mic.
Okay, is it better?
Yeah.
Is it really, Mark? Is it?
Yeah, the static is really bothering me today. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
move
you
this.
just saw it. Yeah, and there's Mike popping.
Okay, no,
Okay.
I'm,
Nobody
not,
can see anything.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
moving this mic out of the way and just so
Can-
we can talk.
can
Don't worry
you?
about it. Just
But
stay
you
on-
gotta be able to.
They'll be able to hear me. It's okay. They
I
can
don't
hear
know
me.
if they can.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
fine.
we'll see.
All right.
Hey, stop. Hey, come here. Give me a smile. Come and give them a smile. No, she's
So getting back
she's
to
just smiling her
so
way
you're
up.
kind of frowning upon what I'm saying. Listen, we don't take jobs unless we agree on the money we're getting paid, right? We understand that. But that's why a lot of people are leaving town because there's not places to play. People are not getting paid what they're worth anymore. That's how I feel.
I think on the finance.
Talking about-
Yeah, I'm trying to direct this diaphragm so it isn't popping. I think on the financial end of everything, man, that's where myself, I just go, I'm an artist. I don't think about finances when it comes to that. I leave that up to my managers. Me. But we need sharks and we need stuff. But if you're talking down the road of finances, everything you're talking about is correct. Yeah, I don't think people, the entertainers out here get paid as well, but we are there to entertain. Our job, or I call us jesters, and our job is to be servants for the people and to in a way of entertaining them. And with that, it always comes at the end of the day as a tip bucket as our symbol as adjusters. Should be the ultimate emblem and symbol for a jester and somebody that, because for me at the end of the day, and I will work on a sidewalk. I know that at the end of the day, I do what I do. I have a skill that no one else has. Only I have. Michael Grimm, one. Now somebody else might have their version of that, but mine is unique, and I can always make tips. Like I say, that should be the symbol for entertainers in general, because that's just what. And put on the tip bucket symbol, put a symbol of a joker, a jester, because that's what we do. And I'm never too proud. And in that, I knew that coming um, from the street, from the backwoods, from the swamps, that from nothing. Never get my hopes up on something. I've always lived with my glass half full, but I've never went my glass is more than half full.
But you have to realize too, and I hope this mic is not popping, and I'm going to try to stay away from it. You have to realize too that the people who, like, there are several people, 80% of the people that we work with have not been as fortunate as you.
No. You're
No, I get your
misunderstanding.
point.
No, you're not. No, you don't. I don't think you do.
All right.
Let me clarify.
Okay.
I think that people's the problem that I see most people having in the world of entertainment is, when it comes down to it, you have to create something. As an entertainer, that's part of our jobs. To create something is, in the world of art, you have to have an artistic mind first and foremost. I believe for an entertainer, there are those that come from the business side and the shark world that go into the world of entertainment that way. Those aren't real artists, though. They may be entertainers, but they're not real artists. To me, I can only speak for the artist in that respect. And what, from my experience, what I've created from nothing, and people can say what they will about my career, and looking back, but I've had a career nonetheless. I have built that career not based on money. Following the dollar and complaining about the dollar makes one look pretty bad. It just does in the entertainment world. Because, I mean, why are you in the entertainment business in the first place if that's what it's about? Jesus, come on. So, for me, I found that my happiness in music has led to the dollar chasing me. And then all of a sudden I found the dollar there and I'm going, wow. And then all of a sudden sharks around me going, ooh, you can do more with that. And then I'm going, yeah, but guys, I don't want to. And no matter what, they don't understand. I'm not for the dollar. And if I were in it for the dollar, I wouldn't have what I've created around me. It's only come because the dollar has chased me. And anybody in the entertainment business really should have that perspective and look at it from that point of view, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm. I agree. I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I like to get you riled up a little bit. Kind of turns me on. Yeah. Um, you're a
Wish it would happen for my wife.
she's gonna come in with a knife in about 2 seconds. You're done. You are so
I
done.
did say
Holy crap! Did you really just say that? We should edit that out.
well,
I'm gonna be over
I
here.
just don't say anything.
Yeah,
You
no, I
know,
think you
to
said
her.
too much. Actually, I'm
I
not gonna
just
be
did,
honest with
didn't
you.
I?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Getting back. So, where are you at right now? How? And I'm skipping forward because there's so much in between that we've talked about the people you've met. Let's talk about that. This is a question that I love asking you. You've met and worked with so many people that we could only dream about. Who is that one person who uh, you were like, wow, you had to pinch yourself and say, wow, who is that? Maybe one or two people that you can say, Jesus, this is what something I've been dreaming about. Somebody you looked up to your whole life, and then you found yourself sitting in a room with them, going, wow, I've really come a long way.
Well, you know, when I was younger, back in the 80s, I remember watching Star Search, and I was like, I want to be like that guy. And I do remember when you were on there, man. I used to watch Star Search like crazy. And when you showed me that of you, I
Yeah,
went, yeah, I do remember that guy. And I remember because I loved Star Search when I was younger, and I would learn to sing from a lot of people that were on there because that was one of the only ways that I could
that was the
get
first.
music.
That was the first of many shows. Now, of course, The Voice, America's Got
But you
Talent,
know, I
and
mean, to
all of
answer
that.
that, I mean, people like you and others that are alive that inspire me. Now, I grew up with albums of Ray Charles, George Jones, people that are long gone, and and the Righteous Brothers was one of those albums. And growing up, and I have to say, man, um, being that I get to meet an idol, and then that idol look at me like one of his musical children. You know, Bill Medley is like a dream come true. It's like I pinch myself all the time going, is this real, man? Are you really talking to Bill Medley?
Yeah,
I mean, first off, he looks great, but I mean, he's one of the last. He's one of the last, man. He's one of the last.
I just had Bucky Hurt on the show, on my show, and he was talking about how Bill decided to use him.
And Bucky Hurd is taking the place in the very big shoes which he fills awesomely.
Yeah.
Bobby Hatfield
Mhm.
and Righteous Brothers. But go ahead.
When you were in LA and Bill was producing your album and you were in the booth singing and you could see Bill at the board, what a thrill that must have been, saying to yourself, wow, Bill Medley is,
Which album? Because he's done a
well,
few,
he's
and
done a
I've
lot
done
of tracks. Like
right.
one of my favorite tracks that you did is um not was it the red dress? What is it called? The
The Red Dress, yeah,
red.
Red
I
Dress,
love
yeah.
that track. It's I had
I
listened
know
to it
it's a
all the time.
great song,
It's a great
and Bill
song.
wrote that.
Yeah, I know.
And he just like, man, Mike, you'd sound good doing this song, kid. Check it out, you know. Did it, laid it down. He I went out to California, did that with a couple of other really good songs that he wrote.
What I love about what you said was a lot of people when they're watching you, they don't understand. Once you do a project, you don't sit and listen to it or watch yourself on TV. You kind of like move it on down the line. You're
I
done with
don't want to
something.
see it.
You don't want to see
Just
it.
like this thing, right? I
Yeah.
look up at it and I see myself. I watch people on YouTube all the time, man. I watch YouTube. That's the only thing I subscribe to, by the way. And not me, by the way, because my name in the search engine, and all of a sudden algorithms going, Michael Grimm, I don't want to see myself. That's the point here. Even this thing right here is distracting when I look up and see myself.
Well, that's because you've got an infection in your ear. But
well, I got an infection in this.
Just kidding you. You look great. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I have to read you a couple of things here. Jacqueline Lewis says, "You guys are the backbone of Las Vegas. We need you." And Irene said, "I wouldn't trade one song by you for all of today's music. I treasure my CDs of you."
Oh.
Marcia wrote, "I'd been a lounge act attendee for a long time. Like the intimacy, went to see people because I actually cared about them. And I remember when Mike could barely speak between songs." Well, Marcia, much hasn't changed much since then. You know, have you seen him lately? It's like, what is she trying to say?
Look, when I was 17 years old, I got to perform at the Ryman Auditorium, the old Grand Ole Opry. And after my performance on the stage, before my performance, they told me, get off, go to the stage left,
And you were
go
like,
stage left.
Yeah, you were like this, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's my left, right? If I'm looking at the crowds, but I didn't really care. And after the song, I just went to wandering around the stage. In the video, somebody showed me this video recently, and I'm looking and I'm going, over here. Okay. In my mind, I was dying, man. I was 17. I could hear people laughing in the crowd. This is a star-studded audience of country music. Star-studded audience.
When you won
This is
America's
the way
Got,
I am,
when you
man.
won America's Got Talent, and they announced your name because you, the name of the little girl that you were up against. I
Yes,
love this.
Jackie Ivanko.
Jackie Ivanko, and she did a beautiful tribute and sang to you on your benefit that we did.
Oh gosh.
And she's all grown up now. But at the time, you were thinking, "Oh my God, I'm up against this little girl. I'm never going to win." When they announced your name, what was the first thing that went through your mind when they said, "Michael Grimm, you're the winner"? What was going through your mind right then?
Before Jackie even got on the show, I was just thinking to myself, my worst nightmare would be a child getting on the show and me winding up being in the finals with a child. And sure enough, it happened. And it was like that was a nightmare. The scenario was a nightmare. Now for me, for Jackie Ivanko, that was such an honor to be up there with her. My God, that girl, even at 9 years old. Guys, I'm telling you this. Believe me when I tell you, when you listen to her on that show in 2010, she was 9. That is her. And she's not singing to any track. That's her voice. And for her to do that, man, what an honor. But that being said, that was a scary moment. I thought, and for me, I was just worried about her. I was worried about what that little 9-year-old girl, because I knew what I went through during the show and what everybody went through throughout that show, especially those that got to the finals in it. A lot of emotions that goes on, but a lot of lack of sleep that goes on as a result of that show. I mean, people don't know. And for a little girl, I was very concerned for her to get all the way to that point. I knew she was going to win. I was really expecting to walk off that stage with her, the winner. And when I realized she didn't win, that's when I hugged her. It was in really purpose. I was just asking her, "Are you okay right now?" And she was just so not 9 years old. And she was like, she said something to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
So you were good. You basically didn't whisper in the ear, "Ha ha, I got the $1 million," and you didn't. That was very nice of you, by the way. That was really good.
No, I was worried about her because 9 years old once again.
But that's you. That's who you are. Do you know how many people really don't feel like that? I mean, that's why people love you and sets you apart. You're a nice guy. You really are. I mean, I know you in person. That's who you really are. You do care. And that's what's crazy about it. Not many people of your stature and people like yourself care anymore. It's the truth. I can tell you that as I'm your friend because that's who you are. That's why you're loved. People know you care. That's who you are, Michael. And but it's funny to see you in front of people. Um, you are kind of disconnected in the way sometimes you come out and you don't have you're not that show person. And again, going back to that, you on stage, I think that's why people love you. You just have a certain way that you act on stage. There's no bullshit with you. Again,
The no bullshit thing can lead to people um understanding, mistaking me. Um, Sometimes I let people do that. I'll throw something out there to see how they'll deal with it,
Mhm.
and how they'll perceive me, because a lot of people will do that back. I don't know. I'm not trying to, but I try to stay private for the most part because I tend to offend people, and when I speak my thoughts, and I'm not trying to. Most of the time, when people get offended by something I say, it's usually because it's out of context. I didn't really explain it well. Um, because my intentions, all in all, in life is I want the truth. I believe it's not your truth or my truth. I believe there's one truth. I think that all of us as people and humans can come together if we are willing to and try to find what that truth is and whatever it may be. And the truth is not always pretty, but the truth is just the truth. And living in a world right now where, as an artist, this coming from an artistic point of view, where I see such separations in the world, and people losing their view as to what you're really doing, what's your job as an entertainer. It's times like these that make me question that for myself. And I'm like, what is my job as an artist? Because my job as an artist is to first and foremost take care of myself. I know that. But my job as an artist is to express my feelings, my point of view. For some reason, people like the paintings that I paint. Sometimes
Do you think they're good, or do you think they're getting them because Michael Grimm painted them? Do you like the way you paint? I mean, do you think you're good at what you
I
do?
think, well, I wasn't born from any hand down, here's a torch, hand this down to you, Michael. That's not, I came from nothing. So everything that I sell, whether that's my name behind it, that is
Hmm.
something that I created.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
little
getting to
bit I
know you
have.
through the few years that we've been friends. What has it been? Maybe 10 at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never cease to amaze me. Your conversation and how your plethora of information in that brain of yours is like we can talk about
All
anything.
useless, though.
No, it's really not. It's amazing to me. And that's why this is so important, this platform, because I really believe you have something to say about so many different things, whether it be entertainment or music or. Um, uh, I want to kind of lighten up the situation a little bit here.
Well,
I want to ask you a question. People come up to you because they feel like they know you, right? A lot of times because you are that person. You're very honest in your approach to your music and to the people. There's a few people who have actually walked up to you and have said a few things to you um, that they feel like they can tell you things about your music. And so, what's a couple of things that people have actually walked up to you and said to you that makes you go, "Wow, I would never have thought that somebody would come up and actually say that to me."
I need to write them down when they come to mind because nothing surfaces at the moment. There's so many of them, though. That's why it
But people
doesn't.
are
So
honest with you,
it's
like you'll be singing, and somebody will come up and say, "Hey, Michael, maybe you should do that song again," or "Yeah, how you doing?" You know what I mean? People have no
I think
filter.
my favorite one is when people think that we do
Mhm.
is so easy because we make it look easy, right?
Right.
That's our job.
Right.
When we get it down, we
Yeah.
make it look easy. Okay,
Mhm.
entertainers. Okay, that means we're good at what we do, but it's not easy, guys. And my favorite one is when people think that they can do what we do, right? And it's easy, and I'm always like, okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, do it.
If you could do it better, sure.
Well, no, and not that attitude, but honestly, encouraging them, you know, to really try to do that because it'll give you a new appreciation as a listener to music and to as a viewer to art and things. When you try to come up with a song, what are you doing? You have so many elements going on, and from lyrics to the melody of the lyrics to even all the chords and structure of the song, you know, and then after that there's all other things in production that go on with it. And when it's all said and done, you go, yeah, that's duh
That's what it's about.
for the one that hears it after it's done.
When,
But then
when,
for making it, nobody knows what it's like. No, what are we going to do with this line here? We don't know what to do with this, you know. And it's like you really don't. You really in the art world, it's really not appreciated as much on that respect as far as what all goes into it to make it look easy is not. Go ahead and try and you'll have a new respect.
when after you're performing,
I feel like this is a French-made microphone stand.
well, it's better if people can hear you with this.
Okay.
After you perform and people come up to you and they get tears in their eyes and they want to hug you and say, you've made such a difference with your music. How does that make you feel? Really whole?
Not always, man, because I mean, if anything, for me, when I write the material and I'm doing the material, I'm really just ultimately, not to sound selfish, but I'm doing it digging into myself. It's a therapy for myself. I'm not singing to anybody out there, but when I open my eyes and I realize people are watching and they think I'm singing to them and they come up to me and they're like, and I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm going, well, I'm singing to myself, but and then I realized, well, God, these people really, I am really singing to them, you know, and some of them will be like, you are singing to me, no matter you were singing about me, you were singing to me, and it touches me, and it made me feel good that way, and it's like that. That really is surprising in the end. That's the sweet reward I get out of it. That's the sweet reward. Um, the rest of it is just therapy for me, and I keep one foot in front of the next, taking licks from people all the time. It's like walking into a den full of lions, and they say, well, there's something really good in the middle there. We don't know what it is, but we hear it's really good. If you can get to it, you know. So I blindly walk into these dens of lions and looking for just keeping one foot down in front of the next. And as an artist, I think any artist that does anything in this world, that a business to try to make anything out of an artist, they feel like they're going in blindly. It feels nasty. It's not fun for anybody. It really feels like the R word. I can't say it on YouTube, but you know, it feels like, you know, I've been taken advantage of. And you allow people to do that as an artist. You stand on the stage, the world stage, and you are naked and you let not only the world pick you apart, now the fans protect you. The fans are your warmth, they're your honey. Um, they're there to nurture you. The critics are just everywhere, and you're on the stage for them to pick at. This is that feeling of walking into the lion's den that I'm talking about. And you just, and people go, why do you keep walking while they're gnawing and sniffing to want to maul you? You know, I don't know, but I'll tell you, if I didn't do it, then I wouldn't be here.
But there's a very fine line between being confident and cocky to some. You have to realize you're good, but at some point you have to realize that you're good enough to get up in front of these people. You have something to offer. In your heart, you have to feel that you have something to offer.
When I sing, people feel like that they understand that what I am giving them. To me, this is my perspective. And for me, that's so enriching. That inspires me to keep going. It's the fuel that without it, I wouldn't be able to survive in this business.
Very few performers I've seen move people like you do. Um, I think it's because you're so raw. Your vocal ability. There are points in songs when you're singing is fine, but there's those moments where you just take us to church and the whole audience feels it. It's just the most incredible feeling, and it doesn't happen with many performers. And you are very blessed to have that ability to move your audience. When you sing, there's something about you. I can't put my finger on it. It's the intenseness, the love. I don't know what it is, but I've never seen it. It's just, you're a very, very lucky guy. You really are.
Thank
You're
you,
very
brother.
blessed.
I am very blessed. I've had some very fortunate moments in my life. But if I didn't take advantage of them, like, the TV show AGT, um, I think about that often. I wouldn't have anything going right now.
Where would you be right now if it wasn't? Where would you be? Where do you think you'd be if it wasn't for AGT?
I don't know. I don't think I'd be anywhere. I
You-
think I know I'd still be here in Vegas doing what I was doing before, um, being the musician, which is what I've always been.
I don't think people realize who you are because they can come to Vegas and then Michael is playing up at the he's playing at a lounge, and they go, "Why isn't Michael playing at the Palladium in LA or doing that?" Because you choose not to. You're happiest in a corner.
Well, what
I mean,
happens?
really are.
What happens is the corners work better. They work best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sell out to big arenas. If anything, my life is represented as just that common guy who's had some heartbreaks in life, who's been down some of those roads, and can't really express himself easily. Misunderstood would be the word there. And that's what I represent, a misunderstood person. But I do know my place. And
Let me ask you this: when you do your show, when you're playing with a big band behind you, do you prefer that than playing by yourself? And what's the different? What's the different feel that you feel you're giving the audience? Is it the same feel, or do you feel like you have more confidence with the band behind you? Because I've seen you with both, and you kill it either way. But what's your preference?
my preference is really just raw. If my band's with me, it's still, I don't know. I prefer my band, I guess, because I work with really guys that know everything that I play. We've been working together for so long, so they just know everything.
And Bill
So
Zappi has been with you for how many?
Bill Zappi, I've not got 20 years. I've been working with Bill off and on there for in past, I don't know, 10 years. I don't know. So,
You feel more comfortable with people behind you because they know they got.
well, I have company.
Yeah.
I don't. I like company on stage with me,
Mhm.
and it breaks up that with the crowd, and it just does away with that bridge, even a bridge. There's no gap then between me and the crowd when I have the band and they're with me. I don't know. It's like family. I don't like big stages where everybody's so spread out. You know those big stages you're on.
Yeah.
People can't see it from the view you're at from the audience, but big stages when we're on them, you're like hello, hello to your nearest musician in the band, and you don't get that intimacy.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
That's what I like about a band. I like I like having that live music, and you got to feel it, and to feel it in every way is to have it right there, all crammed up together, just like we're in here. I miss the speakeasy sort of places, and the idea of the 1920s, of that ritual of going out and socializing that way, that we've lost. Everybody's in front of their computers now, which
thank you. But it's still like, you know, where are we going with this?
I have a funny story about you. I don't know if I should say it, but I hope this
Okay.
mic is not crackling.
Uh-oh.
So when we first met many years ago, you asked me to be a guest on your show, and I was in Los Angeles, and you wanted me to do a couple of Christmas songs. You don't remember any of this, but I do. So I remember sending the sheet music and everything. So when I finally got to be a guest in your show, we got there and I was backstage, and you said, I want you to do Turn the Page instead and doing something else. And I said, okay. And I was tired. I just caught a flight, and I was sitting with Kathy Wolf and Brian, and we were sitting in there, and I was starving. And I just remember this. It was a very intimate place. It was a great place. It was off Las Vegas Boulevard. Um, and I said to Kathy, I need to eat. I'm starving. And so she said, get some chicken fingers. And I go, I can just envision Michael is going to call me up as soon as I take a bite of my chicken fingers. And I'm starving. For sure enough, you had no set agenda. I got my chicken fingers and I took a bite, and you said, right now I'd like to bring up Mark OToole. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally chewing on the chicken fingers. I just never forgot this moment. And I got up and you were playing guitar behind me, and there was no stage. I can't remember the name of the place. There was no stage. It was just people right in front of me. And I'm singing, and I just swallowed that piece of chicken, and I'm singing on a long and lonesome highway east of home. I'm singing the song, and there's a spotlight on me. And sure enough, this piece of chicken flew out of my mouth onto this person in front of me on their chest. And I was like, oh my God. So I went over, and I was embarrassed because I know everybody saw me. And I went over and I just picked it right off her blouse, and
Oh my
and I
God.
ate it. And I
Oh
just,
no,
yeah,
no,
well,
no,
I
no,
was
no.
just like, it was funny. But again, getting back to you is you have no agenda on that stage. And I think that's one of the biggest allure for people when they watch
I
you.
like the realism of it.
Yeah.
And I notice that people gravitate to that because I do not act. I don't like acting. So, you know, look, if you're an entertainer like yourself and you come out to see me, it's sort of kind of I'm just like, I'm gonna make it real. And if I see a moment to make it like that, I did that on purpose too, because I will grab that moment. Just because I want some
Yeah,
realism.
but you're really funny. Like, people think, I don't know, maybe the way that awkward moment that you create on stage when you don't talk and everybody's like, what is he gonna say? Dear God. And then all of a sudden you pull it out of your ass, and you're really funny. And I think that people love that about, and that's why they keep going. Not only musically, don't get me wrong, musically, they already know what they're going to expect when they go see Michael Grimm perform. Great singer, great player. But it's that not knowing what you're going to say or do that really is so different for people. Because when you go see Vegas, people, like, you can look at your clock, it's 8 o'clock, at 8:15 they're going to do this song, at 8:30 they're going to do this. With you, it's like people look at you and go, what is he going to do next? And that's the beauty of you. I really believe that.
I'm honing in, and that's why the show is this way, or whatever you want to call it, this thing that I'm doing here with you. It's just being real. I want to kind of test the waters and see how real I can be without being too real, but without being offensive real. But you know, and really, which isn't real, by the way, for me. And I want it to be raw, man. I want all this to, and if there's something that needs to be said, let's say it. What else are
I
people?
was just going to tell you a
Yeah.
few things people have said. Um, Somebody wrote, he barely spoke in the Ovation days.
All right. Um, the ovation
Where was
go.
that? What is that, by the way?
The ovation at the Green Valley Ranch.
Okay.
That was a showroom they used to have there, and it had a dance floor. It was set up the old way. They don't really have rooms. I don't think they have any more rooms like that. It had the big stage. It was a really nice room, and really that stage and that setup. Um, no matter what I would do, it was a great divide between me and the audience, not the audience with me, because when you're in the crowd at that place, you can easily get connected to the stage, but the stage cannot get easily connected to the audience for its setup. So that's probably why I didn't
Do you
speak
think
a
you
whole
have a
lot.
better insight with people being an entertainer, we talked about this before, about seeing somebody coming at you before they even open their mouth. Sometimes you can kind of figure out that person before they get there. Do you attribute that to being on stage sometimes and being in front of people? Do you feel that that's one of the blessings that you have, where your intuition with people has gotten you through your life? Do you think that your entertainment has anything to do with that?
Well, it's not like I'm telling people what they want to hear, but you know, I mean, I know what I know how to speak to people. Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, I think I've seen you in many different settings with people, and the one thing I truly admire about you, when you're off that stage, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass that you already don't know because I love you, but I love the fact that you take, and I have a lot of celebrity friends who do the same thing, and I think that's why they're so popular. People that come and see you, they love you, they want to come up and talk to you, and I've never seen you blow anybody off. I've never seen you push anybody aside. You you have you genuinely care about what they're saying to you. And no matter what is going on around you, you give that person their attention. And I think that's a really special trait in what you do. And not many entertainers have that. And I think that's why, another reason why we are popular, because we care about our public and their fans. But again, I've seen you so many times just give, like, you devote all of your attention to that person on your break. And it's amazing. I love that about you.
If I find them interesting,
Yeah, I've seen you walk away from people.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well,
but
sure,
me,
but, you know.
but anyway, it says here we got Michael, I'm loving this. The title Grimm Thoughts is brilliant. You and Mark complement each other so well.
Correct. And I came up with that last night.
I love
See, I
that,
didn't
by the
even tell
way.
you. Lucy's like, "What about Grimm Thoughts?" You said something like, I don't remember saying it, but Lucy said to me, and okay, Grimm Thoughts. I didn't want to make it sound negative, but it's just Grimm Thoughts.
I was surprised and entertained when he sang Foggy Winters in Texas. Next year, we requested it again.
Well, you know, the guy that you should check him out, Unknown Henson. He really he's a funny guy. Forget the dude's name because I only know the character Unknown Henson.
Right.
Now, this is I forget the guy, great guitarist, by the way. Don't kill me, guys, for not knowing his name. But great guitarist. He does his character, and then this character does a character on the show Squidbillies. It's ingenious. I love it. I love it. Artistically just building the character the way he did.
You just said artistically. We have a question here.
No.
Mark, can you get Michael to talk about his artistic side? He can paint and sculpt and draw. And draw. That's the way sorry, I'm from Boston.
I know the Boston just came out of me, man. That drawer.
Drawer, sorry.
And you like to do drawings. Okay.
So so when did you start to draw? And did people actually, they buy your stuff online, or how does that work?
My stuff. Look, my mind just works in that area. It doesn't mean I'm sufficient.
Do you have something here I can look at
any of it?
Do you have a picture here?
No. I have some toxic stuff over there. Don't mess around with that.
No.
If you see, there's cyanide right there.
I do see things in here that I'm afraid to
Look,
touch.
cyanide. There's arson next to that.
I just drank some. Anyway, it says the hardest thing is to be yourself, and you are truly you. Thank you. Somebody just wrote. That was nice. They don't know you either. It says, we love you, Michael. You're real, and your talent is unmatched. Are you still touring? Somebody wrote, with Jackie Ivanko this year. Are you going to tour at all? How about that for a question?
Touring. I have to get out and see everybody for the love of it. I know everybody can come to Vegas, which is really what I'm hoping and banking on, that everybody would want to come to Vegas. But once in a while, I have to hit the road. And
you don't like to be honest.
I do not.
You do not like to travel.
No. I do not. I don't
What
like
don't you like about
I
it?
don't like I don't like airports, airplanes, hotels, rental cars. I've had so many years, 20 plus years of doing that.
Okay.
And it's just, man, in every experience that just about
It's
I've
not
been on,
good.
it's just, you know how it goes. So
I
it's,
know.
and even cruises,
No.
you know, I'm done with those. I don't want them. I can't, if I want to stay and get any more longevity out of this business, I need to limit the road.
Do you feel that since you were down and out last year, do you feel like the break that you did have was beneficial for your vocals? Because right now, I
Well,
have
let
to
me
tell
just
you,
lay it out.
I got to tell you, you've never sounded better to
Let me
me
just say this.
ever.
I had a nervous breakdown,
Yeah.
guys. Okay. And it's going to take some time for me to come back. I'm just going day to day with this. People say, what are you doing tomorrow? We'll see when we get there. You know, for me, I have to be in that state of mind right now. It's a survival mode, and one of which I am trained in to that that will help me through these hard moments. I had a really difficult year mentally, emotionally. Lost a lot of people in my life all at once. And I still can't even talk about those things yet, but I will down the line. But it drove me to insanity, and I got to see and feel what true insanity was like. And I felt like I wanted to live, but I knew that in some way I didn't want to also. And that deep back in my mind, a little bit of that was killing me. And wanting me, it was like, okay, you don't want to do it quickly, I guess, but we can do it slowly, you know, and you can just drown yourself out of this world, and then you won't even know. And I didn't know I did, but I didn't know. And then, you know, and it was one after the next, you know, of death,
Yeah.
coming
Sure.
after of dear people, man.
Yeah. Your
Just one.
friends.
And then when I came out of the hospital with all of this, I was met with more death of dear people in my life. Right after I got out of the hospital, my dear grandmother, you know, and then, you know, after that, I lost, you know, another friend, Dwight, and then dear friend of mine, Esther, and Rudy Rodriguez, his wife Esther. And I'm just watching everybody go, and I can name a long list, and it really got the best of me on top of a lot of other things personal in my life. And I don't know, I just found myself where I was whenever I woke up from it. And when I woke up from it, luckily I'm not going to get deep into it, but I had people there and they saw to it. And 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 when I got out and I could see how many people were actually there and what was going on, it's still an eye-opening thing to me. I can't swallow it. It's there. I'm ready to get it in, but and I'm taking it in, but it's too big to swallow, man, all at once. And for all of this that has happened this past year that's changed my life so dramatically, and it really has, because there's no looking back. I cannot fall back on my old ways in any way to be the answer for um, the voids that substance cannot fill. It only makes it worse. And so it's a day by day experience at this point for me. Um, I don't want to come out so much with everything because I don't want people to look at it as something that's malleable for them to exploit. For those that may think it's just what it is on the surface,
let it look like what it is. I tried to paint a picture the best I could throughout all of it. That didn't, you wouldn't see what was actually going on, but I think that was inevitable looking back, that people clearly saw I was going through something. But I can assure you, yes, it was stupidity.
Well, with that being said, we were talking about the last 15 minutes of the show that we wanted to keep this a little lighter and go out with more of a positive attitude. But I know I can tell
I
you,
had to steer it down that route.
but you know what?
Yeah.
It's good though, because speaking about your personal life and only letting, because listen, you have to have a personal life. People can expect you to divulge everything that's going on in your life. And what you have just described is just enough until you're ready to talk about some more things possibly down the road. And in the meantime, I know I speak for so many people who love you and adore you that um, to know what you've faced and what we've gone through with almost losing you is such a blessing to have you healthy, to have you here.
That was scary, man. Just when I'm telling you,
You know,
that was I probably almost died quite a few times in my life, my stupid self. But that one was the real moment that I almost did die. And coming out of it, even my body was like, wait, I'm still alive, so I'm still repairing all my joints and my muscles, and everything's coming back very slowly, but it's getting there. And that includes my neural network, so my poor wife, man, I had to, she's like, please go, somebody take him some days. I can't take this, you know. But it's just my mind. I'm so hyper, my mind doesn't stop. It never stops. I got to try to get control of it.
well, getting back to again, what this podcast is all about is I think we've achieved on many
I
levels
think
what
so.
we're trying to do here, and that is to keep it real, folks. And it doesn't get more real than what you just heard, especially with Michael talking. It's hard to talk about your personal life.
Yeah, boy. Well, let me wipe that off,
Wipe it
man.
off, man.
Ow.
Yeah, I've watched
Yeah.
you hit that 5
Yeah,
times
I
so
have.
far.
But luckily, I have a really empty area right there around my head, so it doesn't really affect much.
Your sincerity, your vulnerability, and your love, what a great talent. Um, and putting one foot in front of the other. Somebody said, you're on my bucket list, Michael. You're the best. Um, let's talk about what the future is for hopefully this podcast. And again, reiterate to some people who maybe tuned in later what your goal is here before we say goodbye for this particular episode.
I guess my goal is to really just have this as an honest platform to come to and just talk about things. I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, guys, in life besides music, but I'd love to talk music. That is one thing I have the experience on. But there's all kind of things in the world of art, and I want to use this thing as a platform for that. And if it takes off, it's only from the viewers that would make this take off by starting out like this. So just taking the dirt, and we're gonna make things just from dirt, because you can build a house, you can make paintings from dirt. So, I mean, so
I wanted this particular first episode to be more about laying the foundation down, getting to know where you're at right now, because so many people who love you want to. I mean, that's a
if
natural
they want to
question.
know,
They want to know.
guys, if you want to know anything else,
What we've got so
yeah.
much. Listen, this particular episode again was more about you. The next episode will be more about other things.
And I'm glad we're getting it out of the way,
Right.
because it's been, I said to you yesterday, I'm like, well, this is going to be easy. It's just comfortable. But yeah, when it gets to talking, I'm going, oh God,
It's uncomfortable a little bit. Yeah.
But I'm willing to, whenever, at whatever given time, if the time is right, I guess also, I'll answer any questions. And that's another reason for this platform.
Yeah.
For you guys to come on and ask questions.
Well, anyway, we've talked for when do we start? 1 o'clock?
2.
2 o'clock. Oh, so it's an hour and 20 minutes. That's enough.
I think so. Let's end with 1:30 here. Well, let's go through.
You want to go for another
Let's go. Let's end with something good.
9 minutes? All right.
What?
Let's talk about. Because a lot of people
What
don't
good
know.
is there in the world? Look, I'm going to start it out by this,
Sure.
from a Grimm perspective here. Okay, I go somewhere to get away from all these stupid politics that's going on right now, government politics, right? So I'm going somewhere. If somebody can tell me where to go, I mean, I'm not going to name or bash out anybody because of, of any legal things or whatnot. But there are stations and TV stations and even YouTube, of course, without saying, it tends to be quite negative. So I'm trying to find some good comedy, man. Something
Entertainment.
I can't go to like Comedy Central or
You can't watch late night because, and this is one of the things that bothers me too. Everything is so right now, especially
SNL
now,
has been
political bashing.
I'm going to
I
say,
can't.
man, I really wish SNL would not go there. I go there to get away from the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, here comes the time. That great tradition, of staying up when I was a child late to hear that sound, to know that New York and the world is alive, hearing that sound of that saxophone, and that me as a musician, it was
Right.
firing me up late at night. I'm like, oh, and then here's the guest. And I grew up in the 90s of that era. And so that was Dana Carvey and that cast, Chris Farley and all of them. And watching that cast, man, they may do a political piece, but it would only be at the very top of the show, and got it out of the way, and then went on to just quirky, stupid stuff. Lucky if they get a good sketch. That's one you're talking about.
See, I was lucky. I grew up with the Gilda Radner, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. I
was watching that with the adults, but I was a toddler during that era.
Yeah, it was much different back then.
But now today you can't go to it for any comedy.
No.
For me. And it's just, man, would you write some good guys if you're watching this? Any SNL guys aren't going to be watching me, and what the hell do I have to say? But please, just get rid of the politics and make it funny. Just make something funny. Get rid of the politics, the government politics.
When you do your show, when I do my show, nobody wants to go and hear anything about religion or politics. Right. We just want to be entertained. We want that hour and a half with you or whoever. I want to go and be entertained. I don't want to hear about the bullshit that's going on in the world. I want to forget about it.
I know if I go to Bill Maher what I'm going for.
Right.
I'm not, if that's the kind of entertainment I'm going for, but that's not what I go to SNL for. Well, that's definitely not what people are going to expect from me. This is about the best you're going to get of that.
Yeah, I've never heard you go down that road on stage.
No, and I don't think anybody really. If come on.
Man. I'll give you an instance. I'll give you
right now.
I'll give you for an instance. Gentleman came on my show. No names. He was running for lieutenant governor, and one of the things that I made as a stipulation, I said, before you go out on stage, do me a favor. Half the audience is Republican, half is Democrat. I said, please.
Is it stage right?
Yeah,
Democrat or stage left?
They're all mixed.
Stage left Democrat, stage right Republican.
So I said, whatever you do, just don't talk about who you're running for, what party.
Right.
Well, they did very good up until about halfway through the interview, and then they said they named a particular party. And what happened is half my audience would start screaming, yeah. The other half was like, no, And
it's only meant to divide.
And I'm the
whole government politics right now and social politics comes into this also, where certain things are meant to divide. So we have to be careful what we say, man. And I want people to understand where I'm coming from, though, more importantly, and I know you are coming from the same place. I am an artist. We are artists. We do not see this constriction upon expression. I want to, where that starts, if that becomes an issue, and I look, I've been to China, and I was a judge for a contest in China. At the end of the one of these performers, they were from Japan. They the girl let out a bunch of F-bombs at the end of the thing. One of the guys that I was with, he was from America, one of the judges, and he was a Christian boy, God bless him, but he didn't too much care for the end swearing. I had to take up the opportunity, though. I was like, okay, well, they're giving it to me. I'm like, the guy before me said I didn't like I liked everything else except for the F-bombs and stuff like that. See, I knew what was going on. I knew that was a freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm.
And from an artist's point of view, I was like, hell yeah, you know, I appreciate your expression,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I don't want that expression to ever be confined. And yes, I was in China when this happened. Okay, I was doing this in China, and I kind of went, don't say that. But then, you know, if I'm in my own country and I can't express my own self, you know, um, that becomes a real issue when it's that's where I would draw the line when somebody's saying, well, because if you don't understand where where my heart is set on and where it's coming from is for all of us to find that common ground. And I see nothing but divide amongst everybody, especially when politics and government is brought up.
You have a responsibility, though, as a performer, to know the difference between right and wrong and what your audience, Michael Grimm's audience, is going to come and expect to see from you. They're not going to go to expect to hear any of your comments against or for a particular party or any politics. That's not why they're there, though.
And I am a patriot.
Yeah.
I am a patriot. I love my country. Only because really I appreciate it because I've been around the world and I've seen second and what we call second and third world countries. I have been there and I appreciate this country. I'm not the hardcore, you know, that guy, but I do appreciate this country and I want others to know that where I come from is from a place once again where I'm like, where have we really, guys? I'm asking everybody, please show me where we have made such great divide at, because wherever that point is, we gotta reverse back to it. And if I'm looking temporally as at a time here, maybe it was the 1980s was the last time. I don't know. Luckily, I got to grow up in the 80s, so I got to feel it and see it, and it's kind of a time that I wish that we could go back to. I mean, Back to the Future was showing this time that we're living in today,
Mm-hmm.
but from the perspective of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Back to, I was really hoping for that time,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that they
yeah.
that they saw, you know, from, but it never, boy, if we can go back to the 80s and redo that movie, what they would see the future of today, this great divide. How disappointing. How disappointing, man. You would go, no, we can't be back at some sort of great civil war, possibly. And don't think I'm being dramatic on this, but it's like, man, this is how the Civil War happened. And if you look it up, so we don't need that. We need to come together and stop arguing. And
Do you ever say anything like this during your show? Because, or do you speak through your music as a message when you do "God Bless America" or those patriotic songs that you do so great? Do you feel like that's kind of your way of saying we need to get back to basics? Because for you to stop your show and talk about it just isn't really going to happen. You know, I've never seen you do that before.
I don't think it's my job when people come out to see me
Mm-hmm.
to speak about such matters.
Mm-hmm. You keep it.
I'll let that be for somebody else. You know that, like I say, your George Carlins and those that entertain the politics. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't government
You
politics.
have strong opinions. I know you. Because
I have opinions,
your
but they all
opinions.
are based on my solution for the best solution, the one that will not hurt people, rather the opposite.
But I respect you because I feel that when you're on stage and you're performing, our job is to not incite those feelings because,
Once
like we're
again, I
talking
don't
about
go-
SNL,
Yeah, right.
we want to
Yeah.
listen. We're there to make people forget. Let's enjoy some great music. Let's keep it real that way.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, if that were to happen with me, if I went to see somebody, I probably wouldn't. You know,
So I guess
I wouldn't deal with
that's
it.
really the general line there. We just go no government politics
None.
in this room.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea.
No. I mean, things are going to become political no matter what you bring up, but government politics have to stay right out the
Yeah.
door, man.
Yep. Because we all have our personal feelings and our personal thoughts.
And I respect that.
And I do
damn
too.
it, you know?
When people weren't getting the shot, when people weren't voting for somebody, I've come to realize.
I know when people aren't voted for something. I love that when people do that too. You know, well, I don't know if I'm going to vote this year. Well, you better vote. You better vote.
Well, you better get the shot. Well, listen, I got the shot because for what I do, performing on the ships that you were required. I mean, I look at things much differently now. And all I'll say about this is no matter who you're voting for, what your thoughts are on certain subjects, that's up to the individual, and we have to respect that person's right to the decision.
This falls back onto that line that I draw as an artist. It's when you start encroaching on my expression, my freedom of expression. That's important for any artist. That's important for artists, and I consider comedians even an artist in this respect. Yes, they can quite offend people. Yes, some of them are not real comedians that just offend people for a living. But there are some that are quite clever, and the true art of what they do comes with that freedom of expression. And that is part of the problem I'm having also, is that I can't get on any TV anywhere to see any real good comedians, very few, far and in between right now, because they're scared to get out and say anything. And that's why I'm like, come on, guys, really stop. Let people have their opinions. If you're going to see a comedian, and you get offended. I was talking to a comedian the other day across my fence of all places, and we were having this discussion, and he was talking about where he didn't want to offend people. And I was like, this is bad, man, for you.
But
right
look
now.
at Buddy
This is
Hackett
horrible.
and Red Fox and Joan Rivers. All of those people, they stirred the pot. And when you went to go sit in the audience and watch them, you expected that type of humor.
You're going to be roasted. Somebody's going to be roasted.
Somebody's going to get
People
you.
learn what roasting is. I mean, that's funny stuff if you just accept it and go, it's bashing somebody. You go expecting that, go ahead. And it humbles you. If somebody's roasting me, I don't think anybody can roast me better than I can, but go ahead and try. Maybe I'll wind up being like Roger on American Dad when he gets roasted. You ever see that? Here we go, hitting that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to roast you someday. Can we do it? All access. Look at you, America's Got Talent.
I didn't know that was on there.
Listen. We could go on for hours here,
We could. Guys, we're going to have to end this.
We have to.
Mark's got stuff to do, and I don't. And
I had a
that's
ball.
just the way it is.
Well, you know what I love you, but I love listening to you. You have so much to say, and hopefully the audience will want to hear more.
Well, I hope the audience also knows that coming onto this is just setting the stage. I'm just going in, just putting the tippy toe of my feet, in the water, but not jumping in. Okay. And we're going to go bit by bit with you guys just to have a good time and make sure everybody is on board with us here.
I want to thank you because I know it's difficult sometimes for you to speak about yourself. You've been very forthright, very honest. And I know that in the upcoming episodes, your audience is going to enjoy even all of your thoughts about everything that because you are a quirky guy, man.
I have all kind of strange stuff. If look,
damn.
Guys, I'll put some topics up. I'm into stamp collecting. If there's anybody
UFOs,
what about I'm not into UFOs, but
life after death.
I do love physics.
Life after death.
Physics, particle physics, nuclear physics.
Well, don't lose all your audience now.
I know, right? Well, I do. I do like I love Egyptology. I love Egypt. Period. I love Babylonian
The
and
planet.
his. I love the planet. I love humans. I love because yeah, it's like life is like a big nature show to me. It really is. I mean, like I'm trying to figure myself out by watching life and watching these moments because that's you got to understand from our perspective here, guys. We're always on stage looking at many people, and it's interesting. It's an interesting life if you think about it because we don't, we don't. We're always trying to please you in some way.
That's a downfall.
It is, and it can be. Yeah.
It is a downfall because you don't know when to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, we are going to say yes to saying goodbye because if not, Michael will
I
keep
get
talking.
upset. By the way, I'm obsessive compulsive too, so I'll just keep talking. ADD. I'm labeling myself, diagnosing myself right now.
I love you. I'm going to diagnose you for saying thank you for being you. I love you.
Love you too,
And-
man. And thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man, I
Thank
love
you. Thank you. Thank you. Man.
To all the people that watched today, I hope that you got to know Michael a little bit better.
And not anything at all about Mark if you're just tuning in.
That's fine with me. It's not about me.
Oh no, we
you
need
know,
to talk about you.
No,
We need
I'm-
to come back.
I'm good.
We need to share some of the upcoming
I'm good.
things.
I'll let you know what
stuff.
you're fascinating, and I'm glad you're healthy and you're doing great. I
And
love you
thank
very
you,
much.
Mark, for pulling everyone that loved me all together.
It wasn't hard.
to do
People
that.
loved it. Listen, I couldn't. There were so many people that want to be a part of that benefit, and I was like, okay. And then people like to thank people like Daniel Emmett and Barry Manilow and
It was, man. And then I get a call
everybody.
from Donnie Osmond called me one day, and then he leaves a message.
He called me. So he called me. Donnie Osmond called me, and he said, "Do you think that Michael
This
Grimm
is
would
how
mind?"
surreal these things get sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Manilow, when I won the show, I was driving back from LA and I
Yeah.
get a call on my phone and I didn't know the number and so he leaves a message. Hi, Mike, it's Barry Manilow here. Give me a call back at this number. Somebody, I'm like,
Did he talk like that though?
that's just my
Yeah.
my
Okay.
entertainer voice.
Okay.
Hi, Mike. I'm doing my Jim Buck as his entertain. Jim Trippy does his voice of somebody doing their impression of somebody.
Do I
else,
sound?
you
Do
know?
I sound like that when I call you?
And it winds up in the end going, "Hey, this is how we all talk." I don't know where this came from, but it's a thing in the business.
We almost got out of this alive. We were supposed to end 5 minutes ago, but we could talk about that later.
I don't even know what was happening. Where we're going.
We're talking about the benefit. You were thanking people, but
And
it was
guys,
easy.
thank you once again for that. But yeah, I mean, let's just do this again real soon. Let's talk about you.
No, I'm good.
Let's bring up you.
Stop poking me. Love you guys. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Well, love you. And
I
to all the
appreciate it.
people who have been following us, thank you guys. Thank to all Michael's fans out there. We appreciate you. And please, if you like what you heard today, spread the word and let people know.
Or not.
Or not.
You know.
You know.
It's just I'm gonna get on here and do that, and whether you like it or not, which I hope you like it.
That's true. Take care.
All
I
right.
think we end stream now. I think I got it.
All right. You gotta come down. Go hit the thingy. You hit that one right there. Right there.
Bye,
Yep.
guys.
Bye. No, that one.
Yeah.
No, now no. Hit the not.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. No, not yet.
Okay. Do what do I do?
Not wait. No, hit the end stream.
End stream.
Okay, now hit the end.
End. Okay.
Not the not yet.
Got
Not
it.
yet.
All right. I'm going in.
No, I mean hit in.
Yeah.
Not the not yet.